So today we wanted to do a podcast. Before that, I want to invite my members. Okay, I want to introduce myself. Before that, I'm Nurul Masida. You can call me Mas as a host for today, and all my members.
My full name is Nur Awati Fuza, and you guys can call me Wawa.
My name is Nur Ediana Ayuni. You can call me Ayuni.
Hi guys, my name is Shaza Alisha. You can call me Shaza.
Hi, my name is Siti Elahi. You can call me Hela.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to our podcast. Okay, today we'll be exploring one of the most emotional and visually poetic movements in cinema history, French Poetic Realism. To help us understand this topic better, I will be asking my group members a few questions about history, narrative style, and example film. So, let's begin. Okay, so first, can I explain guys to us what exactly is French Poetic Realism and what makes this movement different from others?
Okay, French Poetic Realism was a French film movement in the 1930 until 40, focusing on the bleak realities of the working class, using lyrical, melancholic, visual, fatalistic stories of the doom-love and poetic dialogue to blend social commentary with heightened emotion of the featuring alienated character finding fleeting happiness before inevitable tragedy.
Okay, thank you, Yumi. Okay, French Poetic Realism is usually linked to certain important filmmakers. So the question is, who are the key filmmakers or directors?
Okay, filmmakers behind works such as Marcel Carné, Jour, Leve, 1939, used a symbolic approach to express the feeling of despair following the fall of the Popular Front on the eve of the Second World War.
Okay, thank you, Elle. Now let's look at our example film. Why is Le Jour considered a strong example of French Poetic Realism?
The Jour illustrates the psychoanalytic narrative economy of the 1940 melodrama and film noir in its figuration of the compulsive desire that forces repetition which can only be stopped by death.
Not bad. Okay, we have talking about film and filmmakers. So now I want to ask about why did we choose the podcast format and what's the process to present French Poetic Realism?
Thank you, Mas, for asking the question. So we choose the podcast format because it's relaxed and effective way to explain ideas through emotion, tone, and voice. It also fits the mood of French Poetic Realism, which is very atmospheric and expressive. The process of making the podcast started with researching and understanding the topic. Then we discussed and organized each person's part. After that, we recorded the audio several times to make sure the sound was clear. Finally, we edited and arranged the audio so the podcast sounded clean and professional. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, last but not least, guys, why do you think this French Poetic Realism is still important for film students and filmmakers today?
Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, French Poetic Realism is important for students, especially in cinematography course, because it teaches the foundation craft of blending social reality with expressive visual aesthetics to achieve profound emotional impact. It is a cornerstone movement that heavily influenced subsequent cinematic styles, including film noir and Italian neorealism. The key point that we learn is key cinematography lesson that we can get from French Poetic Realism is the first one is mastery of atmospheric lighting. Second one is artful mise en scène and set design. The third one is innovative camera techniques, which we can learn as a student. We can learn the deep focus and long take shot. The fourth one is visual storytelling and symbolism. Then blending realism with poetic expression, and the last one is foundational influence on modern cinema. That's from me.
Okay, thank you for sharing all those insights. So, French poetic realism show us how film can combine realism with poetic emotion and how narrative structure shapes the way we feel a story. So, guys, we hope all of you enjoy our discussion for today, and thank you, and see you again. Bye bye.
Bye.